Hi guys, welcome back to Balls Fan TV, and today we're back with another video doing the match preview for tomorrow's game against Derry City at the Brandywell, coming off the back of a 7-0 win in the cup against Leicester Carney. In a game where it was very comfortable. We knew going into the game that we just had to turn up and show the quality, and we get the job done, and we did that. And yeah, we're through to the next round. We faced Sligo at Mount Park. Yeah, that draw was on Tuesday, I think. But yeah, look, we're coming into this game now. It's a really big game. It's going to be a much tougher test than what we faced on Friday night. That's for sure. It's a big game in the kind of European title picture. Both of us, both ourselves and Derry City, still have an outside chance of pushing for the title. With Rovers being in Europe and having one eye on that. It is a big game for both of us, and one that we're both looking to win. Two sides on good form as well. Derry come into this off the back of a like ourselves, an emphatic victory in the cup. A 5-1 win down in Marketsfield against Treaty United. But look, like ourselves, they know that they're facing a much tougher test here. And look, it's up to us to bring that test. And get a bit of a result here. I think if we want to keep ourselves in the title racing, we have to get 3 points here, which could, will be hard. It's never an easy place to go, the Brandywell. We know that. Our record there over the last 2 or 3 seasons hasn't been the best. We lost there back in February, in a game that there wasn't really much in it. Let's be honest. Derry scored a free kick in the first half, Michael Duffy, and yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot in the game after that. But we were still a little bit off at that night. But look, we're a much different team now compared to then. We found a really good vein of form, and we're looking to carry that on here. And look, hopefully we do. Look at our last league game against Galway. It was a really good 3-0 win, and you saw how clinical we were in that game, especially in the second half. We were able to take the chances that we feared we wouldn't get in the first half. Or based off the first half anyway. With how the game was going, but yeah, we need to see that clinical side was here again. We want to get the 3 points. But looking at the team, you'd expect us to kind of revert back to a team that we've been playing over the last few weeks. Last week we saw a lot of changes, a lot of academy players that done quite well, and players that had been on the fringes over the last few weeks, getting good minutes into their legs, like the Parsons, Bucco, Talbot got 90 minutes as well. So you'd expect players like Rossi, Dawson, Bruni, Casper, they'll all come back in, you think. Niall Moran, he came on for the last sort of 10-15 minutes there last week, but you'd expect him to come back in. One interesting one, I suppose, will be, Colin Whelan, will he keep his place? He done really well last week, took his 4 goals quite well, and linked up really well with the other players, done really well for, to assist Brennan for his goal and Strauss for his second goal. It'd be interesting to see if he keeps his place. Look, he had a spell up on the Brandywell a couple of seasons ago and didn't quite work out from there. So look, there's that, add a bit of, motivation for him to come up here and start, and hopefully make this the start of a good run for himself. But yeah, I won't be surprised if he does keep his place, despite the fact that Douglas James Taylor has come in and done quite well in his first couple of games. Pat's away, he was getting involved and threw himself about well. Won his individual battles. Then in Galway he got his goal. So yeah, there's every chance that he'll come back in. But don't be surprised if Colin Whelan does keep his place. But look, one thing's for sure, in this game we're going to have to be organised. We've seen in weeks and months gone by that we can't be very organised at the back. We kept the most clean sheets. Our defensive record is the best in the league, and there's that fluidity to us as well. In possession we play with the back 3, out possession it's the 4, and we're very organised, but we have the quality to hurt us. And we need to see that organisation and fluidity again here if we want to come away with something. And look, we definitely do have to come away with something here. It's a game in hand. Like I said at the start of the video, if you want to, keep ourselves in the title race, you might need 3 points here, and that could be hard to get. But we come here with confidence. We are above these in the league. Looking at, I know it's only by a point, but we've shown enough in recent weeks to suggest we can come up here and get another 3 points. If you're asking me for a score prediction, look, if we could come away with a draw here, I'd probably be happy enough. It's just one of them, really, where you look at it and think, right, we're going up to the Brandywell. It's a tough place to go. They're normally quite good at home. you know, if you came away with a draw, would it be the worst result? Probably not. You know, then you've got that other game then, you know, the week after against Drogheda, where you can go into that and say, right, we're at home, you can get 3 points there. You know, if you can get 4 points from the next two, it's not bad going at all. But, you know, 3 points would be absolutely massive. You know, it would really, you know, add to, you know, the kind of faint belief that, you know, we can't really put up a title challenge, you know, and put it up to Rovers. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the scores raw. I'm gonna go 1-1. We absolutely have to be organised. You know, we can't give them an inch really. You know, the midfield have to be, you know, really on their game. Same with the defence. You know, we really have to, you know, keep out that threat that they had. We know with Michael Duffy and, you know, Boyce is good for a goal as well. You know, if we can keep those players quiet, you know, you'd hope that we can get something. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. And look, given our record at the Brandywell in recent seasons, I think most of us would probably take that. But look, 3 points, if we can get it, it would be absolutely massive. So yeah, that's where I'll end it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment down below what you're thinking ahead of the game, our score predictions, and I'll see you for the reaction the day after. Bye bye.